Good afternoon, iPower One Nation. Thank you for being with me today. I'm a little bit under the weather, and no, I don't have coronavirus, just to let you know. I just want to address my closest friends that been there for me financially throughout this time during the pandemic here and across the country. I am currently in Boston at the moment. This is directly towards my fans, my radio listening audience. That's who I'm going to focus on at the moment. People are wondering, when is iPower One Radio going to resume? What's the future of iPower One? I'm going to get to that in a minute. But first, for those of color who are trying to get unemployment benefits, who are low income from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts during COVID-19, you're not alone. They're also giving yours truly a hard time trying to survive. As for the stimulus checks that Americans are supposed to be getting, well, sadly, I have to burst your bubble if you're a person of color expecting a $1,200 check from the United States government. But you will not see one dime of that money. Forget it. If you think a $1,200 check from the government is coming your way, time to get those financial hopefuls out your mind. However, there are some that will be lucky enough to see that $1,200 stimulus check come for those who have worked part-time or full-time that make under $75,000 a year. Those of the middle class will automatically see those $1,200 checks. Those who are worth millions working for the government or these corporate business companies, they're set for life. Those who are low income, who are black or brown or a person of color, who owe child support, you're not even close. Look, I don't know why some people of color think that they are eligible. Well, I'm sorry, you're not. Why get excited? Yes, it's no fault of your own. I get emails all the time, all over the country regarding people shoplifting for food. We're talking people who were laid off with no fault of their own, stealing food from the store or the supermarket. Not robbing a bank, stealing food for survival. Because they were either denied benefits, denied food stamps, or DTA from the government, purposely by unemployment services. Now, I'm not saying it's right for some low-income folks stealing food, but at the same time, I cannot blame them for what they are doing. These are life and death emergency times right now. People are struggling financially. People are dying from this airborne pandemic. And sadly, there's some black people that cannot stay home during this pandemic and have to go to work because they were not given a check by the government in order to survive. Some, unfortunately, cannot obey the stay-at-home ruling by these cities and states across the country because they were purposely denied. So sadly, what choice do they have but to go to work? That is where most black and brown people and other people of color are at today. This is no fault of their own. And those ones who are stealing food, just food, I wouldn't even call the police on them. They're hungry. They're purposely being shut out. Now, don't get me wrong. Stealing is wrong, and I wouldn't even encourage anybody to do that. I get it. However, when they have poor black and brown people or people of color up against the corner, and you are trapped with nowhere to go, needing emergency financial assistance, you got no choice but to fight for your life in order to survive. No, I ain't talking about selling drugs or robbing a bank. No. At this point, grabbing food off these shelves without paying is not a crime to me if you're trying to get by and get past this pandemic. That is minor to me, not major. In my opinion, there is no way in hell poor people should be treated this way in order for them to start stealing food from these stores for survival with no fault of their own in the richest country in the world. All I'm saying is be careful, people. Be careful. Now, if somebody's stealing just for food personally, I wouldn't get mad. You're out there trying to survive. You ain't robbing a bank. You ain't robbing nobody at gunpoint or knife point. You ain't jacking somebody for their loot. You ain't robbing a bank. You just want food on the table for survival. You want baby wipes, toiletries. You want food for your kids. For those who are black, brown, white, those of low income who were denied financial assistance by the government, do what you have to do to survive. It is not your fault you're going through this mess. You did not ask to try and survive the best way you know how, even if you have to steal food. Now, if you're shoplifting or stealing money or jewelry, yes, you deserve to go to jail. That, to me, is a real crime. But stealing food, I don't see that as a crime. I see that as a life or death emergency, a cry for help. Now, as we move on, I would like to talk about iPower One Radio, talk about the radio station for a few minutes and its future. People want to know, where is iPower One FM going? Got 2 or 3 announcements about that. 1, we're back in Boston, Massachusetts, talking about the radio station. iPower One is still a New York online urban radio station, so don't get it twisted. We're still going to represent the tri-state area of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, regardless, and despite of the pandemic. We are still getting phone calls, emails, text messages from cities like Boston when we do a 4-hour radio program in the evening for our nationwide listening audience. Those are loyal listeners that tune in regardless. Things are going to be a little bit different for now. My colleagues, my co-host on Pretty Ricky, who lives on Staten Island in New York, Stefan Mason, who lives in East Orange, New Jersey, and Raphael, who lives here in Boston, all will be on the phone during our programming. Now, we know it's going to be a pain in the you-know-what to do everything remotely or via telephone during our broadcasts. We're talking safety, social distancing, and taking precaution at the same time. It's better to be safe than sorry. This is only temporarily. iPower One FM will be in Boston for the time being till we're back in NYC by either December of this year in 2020 or next year in January at the latest in 2021, God willing. iPower 98.9, our local New York affiliate, is also back in Boston. We're not having any repeats or live programs at this point due to the epidemic. And just because we're back in the city of Boston don't mean that we're going back to the days of old. No. We know for some out there that do know that iPower One started here in Boston back in 2007. And then in July of 2017, we took iPower One to New York City with open arms. And I'm going to be honest with you. We, meaning here at iPower, had more success in New York than we had here in Boston. Despite of the hate we got, the jealousy, the envy, the self-hatred, other people were riding with us regardless, and still riding with us today from Boston. Now that's unbelievable because I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. And I'm going to mention this during our program on the evening show when we get back on the air, sometime in late April or early May, around that time. I'm still recovering from other issues, including recovering from this common cold, which I said before, this is not coronavirus that I have. You got people out there, whether from Boston, New York, Newark, New Jersey, Hartford, New Haven, Bridgeport, Connecticut, ATL, Los Angeles. They may love the music we play on iPower, whether it's hip-hop, old-school hip-hop, rap, R&B, reggaeton, gospel, reggae, classic soul, funk, and disco. They're always asking me via email, telephone, or text message, what topics are you going to talk about tonight on the show? Do you know that the majority of people that listens to iPower love our 10 to 15 minute talk show segments of Express Your Mind and Speak It Loud Talk 360? They want their views, thoughts, and opinions heard on these airwaves. It's not just the radio interviews by the upcoming or current artists from these major cities. They want to hear some good topics. That's what iPower One FM was made for. And not just music or having regular interviews. That is going to continue to happen on this program. You got people that respond to our topics more, because I know for sure that it affects some people in real life. They want their voices included in those topic discussions that we put out on the show. And we here at iPower One are going to continue to give our listening audience, our fans, our Black and brown communities across the country, giving you Express Your Mind, Speak It Loud Talk 360, Keeping It Old School with Stefan Mason, Straight from ESPN News Sports with Rafael Castro, The Clown Donkey Hall of Shame with Unpretty Ricky, and my Tuesday and Thursday rants, DeMarco Comes Real. People want to be informed. And let me throw this in there. African Americans, black people in Boston, in New York, in Atlanta, in Philadelphia, in Detroit, in Dallas, in Houston, in Los Angeles, all over the country want to hear the little known Black history fact. They want to know American Black history. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing the American Black history fact for a long time. I was inspired by Tom Joyner, the retired flag jock that has been doing the TJMS for 25 years. That's where I got the idea from to do my own little known Black history fact. Now, maybe this generation does not want that. Maybe this Black generation or people in their 20s or 30s or 40s may not want to hear Black history. But we are going to give you the American Black history fact. We're going to continue to talk about Black history. Maybe some of the radio stations in Boston or some in New York may not want to throw it out there, but we're going to throw it out there. We're stepping up to the plate. That's why iPower 1 Radio is different from these radio stations. This is why we got talk on this program that's informative. We're going to continue to give our demographic listening audience between the ages of 18 and 80 years old and over their music genres. We ain't trying to follow everybody else. If that's the case, then you are at the wrong radio station. We are different. That's the way it should be. We are not part of an echo chamber to follow the leader or follow somebody else. That's not what iPower 1 is all about. What did Tom Joyner said? Super serve the Black community the best way you know how, and that's what we're doing. But here at iPower 1, we're here to do our best to try to serve the Black and brown and diverse communities across the country. I'm talking only to our fans, listening audience, nationally and globally. I'm not worried about haters on social media that want to destroy us, destroy me, or put out false narratives about me, my colleagues, and this radio station. If they want to do that, they are free to do so. Let them do that. Some will ride with their narratives, some will not. In this media game, you will lose friends and gain friends who will listen. And speaking of those who tune in and listen, shout out to my brothers who tune in and supported this radio station to the fullest. Shout outs to Stacy J from Dorchester, Clarence Jenkins from Cambridge, my brother, Pete Sonny from Boston, Tyke Jones Williams, Benny from The Bean, Tony T. Boston, my sister Felicia Renee, who we stay in contact during the show, my man Rayshawn from Brockton, Peter Passion from the LGBTQ. Yes, we get listeners from the LGBTQ. They want to know what we're saying on the program, and they are also listening. Shout out to our emailers, Dre Martin and Joanna Washington from Boston, Mr. Bostog 857 from Dorchester, ATL Prince J 404 from Atlanta, my dear beloved sister, Ms. Jennifer Beasley out of Staten Island, formerly of Boston, and my brother from another mother, who I gave a voice to on this radio station several years back, recently helped me out during these pandemic times financially. These are angels for what they did. Big shout out to my brother, David Holland from the Bronx, who I gave a shout out on his Facebook account the other day, along with Jennifer Beasley, who's 69 years old, who was sent by God to help me out in my financial struggles fighting with the government for assistance during this major pandemic. I thank you, my brother, David Holland, and I thank you, my sister, Jennifer Beasley. God has sent you to look after me, which I did not ask one dime from these two individuals. It came out of nowhere. This was something that was never expected. They went out of their way to help me. And I believe, in my opinion, the reason why they helped me, because I gave them a voice, whether on the phone or via email or text message. This is why this radio station is so important, because you don't know who's listening that will help you after you help them have a voice on this radio station. That was a blessing from God, and I thank them dearly, and I wish I could pay them back. But these two individuals said, DeMarco, it's okay. You don't owe me nothing. And I said, thank you, brother. Thank you, sister. You are wonderful for what you have done. And last but not least, shout out to my Puerto Rican brother, Jose Solis, aka Tremendo, who stayed in touch with iPower since 2014. I'm still playing his music on the radio. We never got into any arguments, no crazy stuff like that, because this brother was very patient, never talked down on me in person or on Facebook or any social media platform. We never talked down on one another. As a matter of fact, when he has a chance, Tremendo will answer the phone and we will have a conversation on what is the next plan for Team Solis. Understanding how the radio business and the music business works, he gets it. Because not everybody in the media is going to run the same way. Team Solis took me and iPower on the road almost everywhere. We were on tour during the summer several years back. New Hampshire, Connecticut. This brother let me stay in his crib after a long night out of him performing live, going almost to every event. It was all positive vibes, all smiles, all love and everything. That's the kind of artist who been thought outside the box and got outside his comfort zone. And he had time to travel from city to city. He made time. My brother made time to reach out to his fans and has a huge following on social media. Much love to Tremendo from Lawrence, Massachusetts. I respect this brother. He is the type of artist that you want that will uplift you and uplift each other. And we're still talking to this day in the year 2020. All right, people, I'm DeMarco J, the travel jock. I won't be traveling for a while, not during this pandemic. Thank you so much for listening. At the end of this video, we have all the information on how to follow us on social media. Please be safe out there and we'll get through this pandemic. And I'm out the door.